and welcome back to Voyage of a Time Wanderer. Today I am here to do the New Year's book tag. This tag was originally created by the channel Bookables way back in 2018, and because of the nature of the tag, it's one that just keeps popping up year after year, so I saw some channels that I follow doing this tag in the last few days, and I thought I would hop on board and have this be my last kind of wrapping up 2023, looking forward to 2024 video. I might have a couple more shorts that highlight some favorites from 2023, but I believe this is going to be the last full-length video about my 2023 reading and 2024 reading goals. This is a fairly short tag. There's only 7 or 8 questions, so I think it's going to be a pretty quick video, but I thought some of the questions were kind of interesting to discuss. So the first question is, how many books are you hoping to read in 2024? So I have set my Goodreads goal at 50 books, which is kind of my standard reading goal for the year. In the last, 4 or 5 years now, I've had it set at 50, and I don't plan on ever increasing that. Kind of secretly in my heart of hearts, I hope that I'm able to cross 100 again. I read 120 books in 2023 and 117 in 2022. And I think I was just over 100 in 2021 and 2020 as well. So I kind of hope that I'm in the 100 range, but I don't like setting my goal above 50 because I don't want to be very stressed about reaching or not reaching that goal. And I also want to give myself an opportunity to pick up longer books, especially longer classics, and not kind of feel like I'm wasting reading time by dedicating time to these really long books. So, for example, when I pick up some books off of my 2024 classics TBR, like Crime and Punishment or the Lord of the Rings trilogy, those books are so long that they're like the equivalent of 4 or 5 books in one. And so I don't want to feel like I shouldn't pick up these longer classics because I should read 5 short books instead just to reach some arbitrary limit. So that's why I end up setting my goal at 50 books every year. Question number 2 is, list 5 books that you didn't get to in 2023 that you want to make a priority in 2024. The first book on this list is The Mirror and the Light by Hilary Mantel. This is the 3rd book in the Wolf Hall trilogy about Thomas Cromwell and Tudor-era England. I read the first 2 books, so Wolf Hall and Bring Up the Bodies, in June 2022, so it's been like a year and a half that I've had The Mirror and the Light kind of hanging over me. I started it right away after finishing Bring Up the Bodies. I only got I want to say less than 10% of the way through it, maybe like 8%. And it was just kind of, I was bogged down in that era and that writing style, and I just needed a break. And then I haven't gone back and picked it back up. I have it on hold on Libby, and I keep getting like the notification on my phone that my hold is ready, and I keep delaying 7 days and being like, oh yeah, for sure I'll be ready to read it in 7 days. And I've been doing that for like a year and a half now. And I really would like to wrap up the trilogy and kind of get the full character arc that Mantel was building for Thomas Cromwell. The next book is The Lacuna by Barbara Kingsolver. This is the last book that I have on my 5-star historical fiction prediction list before I can go back and do a reaction video and set a new list of 5-star predictions. And so I really want to prioritize reading this early this year, hopefully sometime in January or February, so that I can go back and finish the loop on that prediction video. Book number 3 is Return to Valetto by Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith wrote The Last Painting of Sara DeVos, which is one of my favorite fiction titles from 2022. And this is a new release that came out in the fall of 2023, and when I found out that he had a new book coming out, I was super excited, and then I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Because I loved The Last Painting of Sara DeVos so much, I have quite high hopes for Return to Valetto. It has a lot of elements in the synopsis that make me think I'm really going to like it. It's set in Italy, I believe in the modern time, but with a lot of historical flashbacks. I've seen some places label it as historical fiction and some not, so I'm not entirely sure about kind of where exactly in time we're set. I think it's telling the story of a few different generations of a family, and there's some long hidden family secrets coming to light, as well as a dual time narrative. And there's also a storyline that features a resistance fighter in Italy during the Second World War. So I think there's a lot of promise for this book, and like I said, I really loved his writing in The Last Painting of Sarah DeVos, so I am hopeful that this is going to be a book I really love, and since it was a new release I didn't get to in 2023, I'm hoping to pick it up in 2024. Going in the extreme opposite direction from a 2023 release, I have King Lear by William Shakespeare. This is one that I really debated putting on my 2024 Classics TBR, but I ultimately didn't, but I still really want to get to it in 2024. I like to try to read at least one Shakespeare every year. Eventually I would love to have read all of his plays, but I'm not in like a huge rush to do that. But King Lear is the next one up on my docket, and that is partially because I have this other book, The Year of Lear, Shakespeare in 1606 by James Sharpio. And this book talks about what was happening in London in the year 1606, which is when Shakespeare wrote King Lear. And he also wrote Macbeth and Antony and Cleopatra in the same year. And so it says that this book kind of examines how some of the political and cultural issues of the time were transformed into the plays that he was writing, including King Lear. So I think this is going to be a really fun duo to pick up together. I'm hoping to read them in April, which I always try to read my Shakespeare in April to celebrate his birthday. And then lastly, the fifth book that I have on this list of titles that I transferred from my 2023 to 2024 reading is The Sun Walks Down by Fiona McFarlane. This is a historical fiction novel set in Australia, and Katie from Books and Things had a lot of really, really good things to say about it after she finished reading it, which is what put it on my radar. I believe it was in the running for a historical fiction prize last year. There's a young boy who goes missing during a dust storm, and kind of the whole town rallies around trying to find him. And we're learning about the unfolding of this event through a variety of perspectives of different people living in this small town. After reading A Town Like Alice by Neville Shute, I have wanted to pick up some more Australian historical fiction, and I feel like this book, especially with the cover imagery, just seems like a perfect summertime read. Question number 3 is, what genre do you want to read more of in 2024? And I think I mentioned this in a couple of videos that I'm really hoping to read more nonfiction in 2024. I'm excited about some of the nonfiction titles that I have on my radar to pick up this year, and so I'm really hopeful that it's going to be a great nonfiction year. The other genre that I want to kind of dabble more in is science fiction. I feel like I'm just starting to get a grip on the niche of science fiction that I enjoy, and that's really exciting to me to have kind of a whole new genre that I had never previously read that I am starting to enjoy and have a chance to explore. So that is definitely another genre that I'm hoping to read more of in 2024. Obviously, I know I'm still going to be reading tons of like historical fiction and classics. I don't feel like I need to prioritize reading more of those because that's already such a staple part of my reading diet. But science fiction is still so new to me that I'm just kind of getting my feet under me, figuring out what kinds of books I enjoy within that genre. Question number 4 is to name 3 non-bookish goals for 2024. I wanted my resolutions for 2024 to be really fun and not feel like a chore, so I have a couple kind of different resolutions and goals for the coming year. The first is that I got a pasta machine for Christmas. It's like one of those attachments that attaches onto my KitchenAid mixer, and so it'll roll and cut pasta for me without me having to like crank it myself. So I really want to try at least 12 different pasta recipes in the coming year. I've already made pasta 3 or 4 times, but I primarily stuck to the same sauces. And so I want to mix up both sauces and shapes and try different fillings and stuff. I want to try making my own lasagna noodles. I want to try making ravioli. I've made fettuccine a couple times now, and I want to make different spaghettis. So we're going to see. It's really, really fun, and I'm getting to try some new foods and new recipes, and it definitely is very delicious and worth the time when I have like some dedicated cooking time on a weekend. So that is one of my non-bookish goals, to try 12 different new pasta recipes. Goal number 2 is that I would like to ride my exercise bike for 2,400 minutes in 2024. This is like the only form of exercise that I actually find somewhat palatable, and I think that's because I can do it from the comfort of my living room in my pajamas, and most importantly, while listening to an audiobook. So this is prime audiobook listening time for me, and I actually quite enjoy in the evening riding my bike for like 20 minutes while I unwind and listen to whatever audiobook I have on the go. And then a third non-bookish goal that I have for 2024 is to do a face mask every Sunday night. I really like to have my most luxurious bedtime routine on Sunday evenings when I'm hyping myself up for another work week. And one of the things that always makes me feel really relaxed is to do a face mask. I usually mix up my own like green clay and honey, but every now and then I'll do a sheet mask as well. So that's just a really fun, relaxing little thing to make sure that I am doing every week. Question number 5 is, what is a book that you have had forever that you still need to read? And there are many books on this bookshelf that I have had for quite a while. I've never been someone who's like stressed about trying to get down to a 0 TBR, but I wouldn't mind going through and unhauling some books that either I have no intention of ever reading or that I have read and didn't love enough to reread, in which case there's no real point in me keeping them on my shelves. And as part of that, I would like to read some of the books that I am still really interested in, but I haven't had a chance to pick up. And one of those such books is Small Island by Andrea Levy. I've had this book, I think, for close to 10 years, and it was one of those books that fell victim to my lack of personal reading time while I was in university. You can see that I was really excited about it, and I got to chapter 2, page 22, and then I probably had some giant essay that I had to write, and I put this aside and never picked it back up. But it is a historical fiction novel, and it is focusing on the Windrush generation of Jamaican immigrants to the United Kingdom following the Second World War. And so we're following a few characters. Queenie Bly, who I'm assuming is this character who decides to take in Jamaican lodgers, much to the disapproval of her neighbors at the time, as well as Gilbert and Hortense Joseph. I'm assuming this is Hortense. And they are Jamaican immigrants who are just arriving in the UK and kind of trying to adjust to life there. Gilbert had served in the Second World War, and then he brought his wife Hortense to join him in the UK after the end of the war. And so they're trying to navigate life in a whole new world while England itself is still trying to rebuild from the war. This is a pretty big book. It has incredible reviews on Goodreads, and I don't know why I have never gotten around to pick it up, but maybe I will in 2024. I'm hoping. Now that I've like dug it out of my shelf to talk about it on this tag, I'm reinvigorated and interested in it, and I'm going to try to decide what month it fits into my reading schedule and mark it down so I don't forget about it and leave it to languish on my shelves for another 10 years. And then question number 6 is one word that you're hoping 2024 will be. I'm interpreting this question to be just about my reading life because trying to choose one word to encompass my entire life feels a little bit overwhelming. So for my reading life in 2024, I hope that it is expansive. I hope that it's expansive in terms of exploring new genres, in terms of finding new to me authors that I fall in love with, in terms of rereading old favorites and discovering new depths to love about them, in terms of growing my community here on Booktube. I just hope that it's a really expansive reading year and that I come away at the end of 2024 feeling like I have learned a lot from the books that I picked up over the course of the year. And then question number 7 is to tag some friends. So if you are watching this and you feel like doing the tag, I'll have the questions and Bookable's original video linked below. Or if you want to share your answers to any of these questions in the comments, I would be happy to read your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and until next time, enjoy wandering through the pages of a good book. Bye.